Why you keep waiting to feel ready? There is a pattern that looks reasonable from the inside. You wait, not passively, not lazily, carefully. You wait to feel clear enough, confident enough, stable enough, prepared enough. You tell yourself that action will come when the right inner state arrives, when the hesitation is gone, when the doubt is quieter, when the fear is smaller, when the mind feels aligned. Until then, you remain where you are, thinking, adjusting, preparing. This feels intelligent. It feels like responsibility, like patience, like self-awareness. It feels like you are respecting reality. But often, you are not respecting reality. You are postponing contact with it. This is what makes the pattern so difficult to recognize. From the inside, it does not feel like avoidance. It feels like timing. It feels as if action would be premature, as if starting now would be reckless, inelegant, or somehow misaligned with what you actually need. So you wait a little longer, not forever, just a little longer, until you feel more certain, a little stronger, a little less exposed. And because that future version of readiness sounds so reasonable, the present moment keeps losing authority. What is here now never feels sufficient. There is always one more thing to settle, one more emotion to regulate, one more doubt to clarify, one more internal shift that seems necessary before movement can begin. This is why the pattern can continue for years without being named. It does not announce itself as self-sabotage. It presents itself as refinement, as caution, as internal honesty. The mind says, I don't want to move from confusion. I don't want to act from fear. I want to do this properly. And all of that sounds mature. But what if the demand for readiness is the thing keeping you from reality? What if the problem is not that you are unready, but that you have made readiness a condition for movement? That condition matters, because once readiness becomes necessary, discomfort becomes disqualifying. Any tension in the body starts to mean not now. Any uncertainty in the mind starts to mean wait. Any fear, any hesitation, any instability starts to function like a signal to stop. The system begins to read ordinary exposure as a sign that action should be postponed. This is the hidden logic of the pattern. You are not waiting for the right external moment. You are waiting for an internal state that feels safe enough to protect you from the vulnerability of beginning. That vulnerability is the real issue, because beginning something real changes the whole structure of experience. Before action, everything is still potential, still imagined, still revisable, still protected by thought. You can prepare, you can refine, you can still believe that nothing has been lost yet. But once you act, possibility narrows. Now there is contact. Now there is consequence. Now there is feedback. Something real can happen. And reality does not offer the same protection as preparation. Preparation is private. Action is exposed. Preparation lets you remain inside your own conditions. Action places you inside conditions you do not control. This is why waiting can feel so intelligent. It lets you remain near movement without entering exposure. You stay close enough to feel responsible, but far enough to avoid consequence. That position is psychologically seductive. You can say, you are still working on it, still thinking, still getting there. And because the intention remains alive, you do not have to confront the fact that movement has not begun. This creates a very specific kind of fatigue. Not the fatigue of action, the fatigue of suspended action. The fatigue of carrying an unfinished beginning for too long. You are not resting. You are not truly stepping away. You are not deciding against it. You are holding yourself in a prolonged state of almost starting, almost moving, almost becoming ready. That almost is heavy because the body feels that something wants to move, but movement is repeatedly delayed. So energy has nowhere to go. It turns into pressure, into mental overactivity, into tension disguised as preparation. This is why the waiting pattern often produces more thought, not less. The mind keeps working because it believes one more adjustment will finally create the right state. One more insight, one more plan, one more internal correction. But the correction never completes because the waiting mind does not want readiness. It wants guaranteed safety, and safety is a different demand entirely. Readiness says, I can move while still feeling uncertainty. The waiting pattern says, I will move once uncertainty no longer affects me. That second condition is almost never met. Not in meaningful action, not in change, not in anything real. Because anything real involves exposure. It involves entering something before the system has finished negotiating with it. This is why so many people mistake hesitation for a valid reason to delay. They believe the feeling itself contains guidance. If I felt more ready, I would know. If this were right, it would feel easier. If the timing were correct, I wouldn't feel this much tension. But tension is not always misalignment. Sometimes tension is simply the body's response to what matters. Sometimes uncertainty is not a warning. It is the emotional texture of moving towards something that cannot be rehearsed into safety. This is where the pattern begins to loosen. Not when all doubt disappears, not when confidence arrives in full, but when discomfort is no longer treated as proof that movement should wait. Because the mind will always be able to produce another reason to postpone, another refinement, another condition, another threshold. And if you keep obeying those thresholds, your life can become organized around delayed permission, permission that never fully arrives, permission that always seems one inner shift away. This is what the pattern depends on. The belief that the right feeling must come first. But often, the right feeling is not the cause of movement. It is the effect of movement, not perfect readiness, not total certainty, only the beginning of a different inner arrangement that becomes possible once contact with reality has already started. That is what the waiting mind does not trust, and that is why it keeps waiting. This is inner cognition,